What are you doing? What's
We're
wrong?
alive.
Oh, are we? Oh, that's even worse.
Ha ha.
Oh, hi everybody.
Hello, everyone.
Worse.
How is everybody doing tonight?
Super duper stellar over here.
I'm doing fantastic.
I'm doing well.
Just well.
Just well.
I mean, it's a big week. Big week.
It is a big week.
In the world of the Houston gaming community, there's going to be a brand new store opening this weekend.
Ooh, that is true.
That is true.
Atomic? Is it Atomic?
I got it fixed.
Atomic Hobby Shop. That is correct.
Atomic Hobby Shop.
Yep.
And Jonathan got it fixed, according to him.
I did.
According to Google, it now reflects the correct name.
That's good.
The Googles.
I am very excited for that to be going on. And unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to game this weekend. I've gamed the last 2 weekends, which is probably the first time that's happened in like forever. And then, yeah, I can't wait to go up there and see all the cool stuff y'all are going to be doing up there.
It's going to be
It's
exciting.
definitely going to be fun. Lots of food. It's going to be the Tau release, so there's going to be thousands and thousands of people there just standing in line to get their Tau codexes.
Yep. Hopefully we're getting like 6.
That's pretty accurate.
We'll convert people to greater good. They're going to come in and be like, oh, here's a new army. Just came out, new codex, fresh off the presses.
I know. Tower coming out. I'm excited.
Excited to kill some Tau. I'm excited to kill stuff with my Tau.
I am excited to see what they do. I really like the Tactica series that GW put out today on the Tau.
Yeah.
I always find it interesting because who wrote that? It's Rhesus from Southern Cal Open. I really like the fact when they do the talks. I really like it when they post those articles and stuff because for me, like a novice Tau player and who has only played Tau a couple times and the last couple like 3 or 4 years played against them, I really like reading what the designers and like other people think about how Tau are going to be played. So gives you good ideas.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting to see like what GW is, because I'm constantly thinking of how I'm going to use my army, and then I get extra little snippets from GW themselves. Oh, hey, that's pretty good insight. I'm going to have to keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's been good. I think all the Tau releases and everything. I think the Tau are going to be a very strong army. It's just, I think a lot of people, it's going to take a while before you see, I think it's going to take a month or 2 before you see really good lists come out on them. I think it's going to be a lot of play testing on what's good, what subs are going to be good, I just think there's going to be, although I think the Tau community is going to probably, well, they're a little angry right now, but I think in a little while they'll calm down and start putting together some real devastating lists. So we should see some good stuff coming out of the Tau camps.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of potential there. I honestly don't feel like Tau is going to be a huge contender for the competitive scene, but I haven't seen anybody on. I mean, I haven't seen the codex yet, so how would I know? But from what I'm looking at, from the list I'm trying to build already, from the points leaks and everything like that, I've got a pretty confident list that I'm building, and I think it's going to be pretty good. I think the Tau will be competitive, and I think more so than my Space Marines have been. I played Space Marines against the Tau Index last weekend, and I still got creamed. Now, I mean, that might just be because I suck at Warhammer, but
I didn't say those words, but I didn't.
I absolutely made some incredible tactical errors, which I immediately realized and suffered, from. But my opponent played really well, and he knew how to play Tau, and he's actually given me a lot of Tau tips, and he's a good Tau player. So I think in the hands of the right player, pretty much any army can be competitive, but it's difficult if you don't have, all the tools that somebody else has. Like if you don't have a Gilliman, then, your life's just a little bit harder. You don't have cool stuff like Mortarion.
I'm just going to say we didn't see Gilliman. We didn't see Ultramarines on the top table, though, did we?
We didn't.
So, I mean, we all know right now it's that Inari mix with Eldar.
Dark Reapers.
Yep. Yep. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure, that mid-year FAQ that comes out, there goes that list. But, I think it's when you start, I don't know, I think Tau is just going to take some time for them to, I think it's going to take time for the Tau community. I know there's guys already pouring over it right now, number crunching and doing everything like that to see what's optimal, what's not now. But without really the points coming out, I think it's really hard for them to do that,
Yeah, definitely hard to simulate at this point. We're so close. We don't have it.
So,
but the leaks are pretty. I mean, at this point, we can kind of assume that the leaks are going to be pretty accurate because these things are in print. They've already been in print long enough for them to, have numbers and shipping them out and taking pre-orders. So I would feel fairly confident in the stuff we have seen, but I think that there's going to be other snippets we haven't yet. I think there's going to be other little rules in the books that are going to affect things one way or another.
Well, I think the thing is people just always try to focus on the negative instead of, the good stuff that might come out because they're pre-assuming that because of the commander restriction that their whole army is going to be obsolete. But, maybe the people that decided to buy 12 Tau commanders, yes, but, having probably different aspects and different things that will help create a synergy for the list instead of just 20 commanders. You know what I mean? That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I mean, considering they've changed up already, we've seen the leaks on the one Tau commander that was only able to he was like a burst cannon. That's the only weapon he could take. Huh?
You're referring to Cold Star commander.
Yeah. Yeah, apparently that's completely changed now. And he was pretty good just by himself with the burst cannon. So now he's going to be able to take all the weaponry?
Yes, so, he had a burst cannon and a missile pod. And he could take two of the signature systems or, the kits that, can change them up a little bit. And his base movement was 20 inches, and he can advance 20 inches just flat. So he had a 40-inch move, and, both of his weapons are assault weapons, and he's a commander, so he's hitting on 2s. But when he advances, he's hitting on 3s. So he can move 40 inches across the board, pretty much get up to any character he wants to and just start laying into them or, whatever he needs to. Then he can fall back 20 inches from anyone who wraps him up in combat. Really interesting. And then they went and gave him access to anything you want to take. So now your fusion commanders are probably going to end up being, fusion cold stars, and they're going to have a 40-inch, advance range with those meltas on there, with four fusion blasters, which are essentially a melta, and they're assault weapons. So he can advance across the field, get right next to something, put 4 blasts in it, and he doesn't have to deep strike in and he can get into melta range a lot easier.
Yeah,
so that's going to be interesting.
Well, what's the system that allows that gives you a better rend that does another -1 to the weaponry?
That was the advanced targeting system, and that has definitely gotten a point increase. From everything I've read, it's definitely gotten more expensive, and I think that that's kind of warranted. It was so cheap and it was so good that it was mandatory. I took it on every single suit that I had because, just everything needed the extra AP for Tau. I would take it twice if I could on half of them, shoot. But there wasn't much that already had enough AP for Tau, and, with a lot of their Strength 5, 0 AP, 1 damage weapons, it was nice to get that extra AP on there and try and reduce the cover saves or try and reduce, Space Marine 3-ups to 4-ups. But the point increase I think was warranted. It helped to make it more of a choice between what you're trying to do and what you want your suits to be capable of. So I can dig that. It hurts me because I'm still probably going to take ATS all the time. It's just good.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, now you've got, I think the Cold Star Commander is going to be everywhere, all over the battlefield, because it's great. I also think Fire Warriors have gotten an enormous buff. They went down 1 point each, and now they have the turrets for free, just for free. And there's a stratagem that lets you put a destroyed turret back on the field for 1 command point.
So on the turrets, you don't have to pay for the weaponry on it?
You don't have to pay for the turret. The turret is free.
Wow. And it's a missile turret?
It's either a smart missile system, which is 4 shots, 30 inches, strength 5, no AP, 1 damage, and it can fire at units it cannot see, and it ignores cover. Or it's got a missile pod, which is assault 2, strength 7, -1 D3 damage, and 36-inch range.
Nice. That's good. I guess they want to see more Tau Fire Warriors on the table, huh?
Yeah, I actually looked on eBay today to see how much some of those turrets are going for, and they're going for $15 and like $5 shipping each.
Oh, nice. Well, it looks like you better buy some Tau Fire Warrior box sets, right? So you can get some free turrets.
Yeah, I've got a handful of those, so
hey,
they're definitely going to see the field.
Yep.
But I think something that'll be more competitive is to take smaller units of Fire Warriors. Instead of taking a 12-man unit of Fire Warriors, you're going to take 2 6-man units of Fire Warriors, because now they're going to have 2 turrets instead of just 1.
Yep. Scott has a good point. The amount of fire is the best way to negate invulnerable saves.
Oh, heck yeah. More shots you put in, no matter what your invulnerable saves is, you're going to fail them.
Yeah.
That's true. It's absolutely true. And I looked at the math hammer back a long time ago, and it was taking multiple weapons of the same thing increased your odds of having the ATS instead of another weapon.
Okay.
But I didn't typically run 4-gun commanders or 3-gun suits. I typically just had 1 or 2 specialized units, and I'd throw ATS on there.
I'm personally glad the Cold Star commanders are going to be utilized, because that's probably my favorite Tau model, because that suit is just super awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool.
It's sick.
I'm glad the Riptide got a buff. I mean, it needed it.
Yeah, I mean, I saw on Warhammer 40K couples, I saw on their feed, they posted a picture with, they had 2 of them. I'm like, uh-oh, they're coming strong, and they got 2.
Yeah. I've got 3, but I don't see 3 of them ever being worth it. Because you're only going to be able to use the stratagem on 1 of them, so you're going to have, a couple of them. The problem is you're taking a mortal wound every single turn. There's a stratagem now so that you can repair it, and there's a stratagem so that even if you're all the way degraded, you can fire at your top ballistic skill. But the thing that hurts the Riptide...
No matter what?
What's that?
You take a mortal wound no matter what? Or it's on a...
When you use the Nova generator, or the Nova reactor, yes. It's
yeah,
not on a 1
they have like 18 wounds or something?
14. You're really quiet.
Yeah, 14 wounds. So, I mean, when you think about it, I think they're going to be... I think you'll see him run them in pairs. So you have a backup. I think that'll probably be the most optimal setup for him, is pairs. I don't really think, you will see 3 like you said, Ben. I think 3's too much. You're putting too much in those cookie baskets.
Yeah, even with the point reduction, you're still looking at, about 250 points apiece, and that's just a round number. So they're not cheap. But the problem that really hurts the Riptide is without, I think, target lock, without having target lock, if they move, they're hitting on a 5-up. So you're not going to want to move them after you've taken a mortal wound in order to get the better weapon profile, which you're going to do every single turn, because it just makes the guns ridiculous. And you're not going to move it and then hit on a 5-up with all of those shots. And even on a 4-up, you're still, out of that 18 heavy burst cannon shots, you're hitting 9 of them statistically. So I don't think you're going to see a lot of Riptides moving around, except for using the Nova Charge and the stratagem, so that they can Nova Charge the weapon and then move the 2d6 in the charge phase, even if they don't charge.
You still get the stem injectors or whatever, right? So
apparently not. From some of the guys I've been talking to, you can't get the stem injector on the Riptide anymore.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, giving it Feel No Pain was pretty rough.
Yeah, it used to be a 5-up in 7th, and now it's a 6-up. So it was interesting to have that change, and now losing it completely kind of sucks, because I played against a Tau player over the weekend, last weekend, and he made every single one of his Nova Charge stim saves. He was just making them like crazy. He wasn't taking any wounds. So I mean, it's really nice to have it, but losing that kind of hurt for the Riptide. But I didn't really take it anyway, so I'm not missing out on a lot.
What's their new toughness?
It should still be 7.
Okay.
Somebody was there were rumors it was going to be T8, and there's no way. There was no way. That'd just be absurd.
Well, excited.
I just can't wait till the Codex comes out this weekend so I can see them.
Yep.
It's definitely going to be interesting.
Yeah. I want to see what Scott does with them, to be honest with you.
Yes.
Because,
Yes.
I mean, he's got a pretty sizable force, so he's going to come up with some good stuff. I mean, I saw him play the Vespids. How did those work? I mean, those look like they can deep strike and lay down a ton of fire.
So recently, I was watching a review of the Tau Codex, and the guy, I concluded pretty quickly the guy did not play Tau because he immediately was like, oh, Vespids still suck. And the fact is that Vespids got a 1 point decrease, so now they're only 14 points apiece, and they're awesome. They're one of the only T4 models in the entire Tau army. They deep strike. They've got a 14-inch movement. They fly. And their weapons are an 18-inch range with -2 AP, strength 5. I mean, they're ridiculous. They're assault 2. They're an excellent unit for Tau, especially with the lack that's across the entire army. The fact that they can deep strike in, get 2 shots off well within their range, and then move out 14 inches the next turn. They can still advance if they need to. It's just they're excellent units. And then they got a point decrease. That's great.
Wow.
And they did some serious work. I had one erase a attack marine squad in cover, like it was just nothing.
Oh, really? Just took it down?
Attrition of shots or what?
Attrition and just that -2 AP, it just helps. It really helps. He had so many shots, and I mean he had a lot of Vespids, which you don't see a whole lot of Vespids often, but I think they're underrated and I think they're excellent units. So I wasn't surprised that they just wiped out that squad. And then of course he had so much movement that he was able to just jump right in. Half of my squad was outside of rapid fire range, but he was still getting all both of his shots all the way up to 18 inches. So they're a great unit.
Yeah, that is cool. I'm just excited. I think we're just going to see a lot more different variations of Tau, which is good. And I think that's what we've seen with most of the codexes of drop lately, is that we see a lot of different codexes, and you see new units that haven't been played for a while, and Ben's going, "Rrr." That was funny.
Ben's frozen, and every couple goes.
Yeah, he just kind of pops back in.
Yeah, look, he's doing.
That's hilarious.
Freezes.
Yeah.
Am I good? Am I here?
Oh, you're here now.
That's awesome. Because I'm plugged into my router.
Surprise.
Blaming that on confidence.
Maybe you need to refresh your computer.
I literally restarted it and did an update before we started.
Yeah, I meant like get a new one.
Oh.
I assure you that is not the problem. I love this PC. It is amazing.
But yeah, I mean, really, when it comes down, I think Tau. It'll just be interesting to see how they evolve over the next couple months.
Yeah,
like the next big tournament we'll probably go into is Alamo GT. So we'll see if any Tau players come there, which will be cool. I need to buy my ticket today. I'm gonna probably buy it this weekend and get my room and everything so I can head up there. I'm really excited to see those guys from Red Star Gaming. Really bunch of nice guys. We talked to some of them at LVO.
Yep.
They were really pumped and they did really well. So it'll be cool. And it's kind of, I always like going back to San Antonio. It reminds me of my college days where I got started in the 40K universe. So
it brings us back to our military days.
Yeah.
Were y'all stationed up at Randolph?
No, Lackland.
Lackland. Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
We did training at Lackland, and then we went to Medina for our training for our school.
Oh, school.
Got a taste of Spokane, Washington, and they sent us straight to Oklahoma City.
Yep.
I would have rather been in Spokane.
Well, I mean, the time in Spokane, Washington wasn't super fun.
Oh, really? Oh, that's right. I remember what you did there now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Survival training is intense.
Yeah.
However, Spokane in August, probably the best weather I've ever experienced in my entire life. It was immaculate.
And you can just get out.
Was it cold when you were there?
Dude, it was snowing.
Did you sleep in the snow?
Yes, I did sleep in the snow. And they didn't let us in the cabins because it was like 2 degrees warmer than the allotted sleep in the cabin. So we slept outside.
That's good. Good for you.
Under a stretched parachute.
Good.
On pine needles. No.
Well, the bees are really bad. I can tell you that in the summer. And see, in Washington, there's this interesting thing the bees do is they make their nest in the ground instead of in the trees for some stupid reason, probably to stay warm in the winter or something. I don't know. But anyway, when you get 7 guys walking across the bee's nest, it's not the first or second guys that get it. It's the third, fourth, fifth, sixth guys that are getting stung to crap while you've got an 80-pound rucksack on your back. And you'd be surprised how light an 80-pound rucksack is once you start getting stung by a swarm of bees.
Oh, yeah.
And even to this day, if I hear insects like buzzing, like swarming around me, I start to freak out. I have to get away from it. Like I will move. Like that is the quickest you've seen me move is when I just hear bees and I'm like, oh, crap.
You automatically become a kung fu master?
Yes.
That's funny.
So the other exciting things that are coming out
More towel?
are...
Man, hold on. They're having a very good discussion right now in chat.
Dude, I know that chat is going.
So, Ben, you need to read that, and we'll let you back in a second. You read what they're talking about.
You guys talk about the better than towel.
Yeah, we figured we'll let you do the Tau talking. Me and Jonathan will talk about something else. We will talk about the most awesome release that I've ever seen GW make. AdMech and New Knights.
That is true. That's what.
So I'll give my thoughts on the New Knights. I was quite impressed with the New Knights.
Dude, they're adorable.
They're adorable. And the thing is, when you look at them, right? Okay, they are tank killing and big unit killing machines, right? Yeah. Both their things on there is just walk up and shoot someone in the face, right? What I found interesting is their Lord of War choice, right? And it said on the Lord of War, you can take up to 3 different ones, right?
Yep.
To make up one Lord of War, which I think is pretty crazy. But the thing that I found out so I'm not really sure how that's going to work because I got to figure out how many points they're going to be. But my guess is because they move 14 inches, right? Toughness 7, 12 wounds, and a 3+ save. That sounds an awful lot like a Dreadnought, right, Jonathan?
Yep.
So my guess is I'm thinking these things are going to range in about 220 to 260 points.
Probably. Fully
loaded out. So you take 2 of them, and roughly that's going to be about 500 points would be my guess.
Yep.
So I think for a 500 point, 2 of those units, that's 28 wounds, toughness, strength, there's strength 6 and toughness 7, 3+ save. And they do have an ion shield. They even said that too.
Think of an entire army of that, though.
You could have an entire army of that.
Yeah. A bunch of little knights. Dude.
But you know what? It's not going to be effective.
No, but it'll be fun.
It'll be fun to do, but there's no way I'm buying. That's going to be, dude, man, you're going to have to buy like 3 boxes. You're going to have to buy like 9 or 10 of those things.
Yeah. Dude, think of the conversion possibilities. I'm thinking of getting an Imperial Knight, and then you get one of those, and you have the Imperial Knight doing like this and holding the little knight on his shoulder.
Or like sitting on his shoulder?
Yeah, just sitting on his shoulder like he's like daddy's carrying him.
I don't know, man. I was thinking that would look really good on your Reaver Titan.
On my Reaver Titan?
Yeah, just nurgle him out. Just have him just chilling up there like a little sassy nurgling, but he's just a little sassy Titan.
Oh, man. I wish we could take those.
Jonathan, you know what you need to do? You need to get one that's been like destroyed and put it on the base of your Reaver Titan.
Dude.
With a big hole in it.
You know what I just thought about?
What?
I'm taking the pilot out of my Reaver Titan, and I'm putting the Sassy Nurgling to pilot my Reaver. Open up the top. You're like, oh, it's a Sassy Nurgling. Pilot.
That's pretty good.
So let's roll back to Ben real quick. So what did you think about the chat? Because I have no clue what they're talking about.
Okay, so basically the gist of what they're talking about is that Kroot and Vespids not only benefit from marker light, but they benefit from ethereal buffs. So Scott actually uses
buff again?
What's that?
What's the ethereal buff?
The ethereals have a couple of buffs. They can help out with morale checks. They can help out with oh man, they can advance and still fire, I think. And I don't recall all of them off the top of my head, but the main one is if you don't move, you get to reroll ones to hit within 6 inches of the ethereal. If you don't move, you reroll ones to hit. So essentially, you've got a marker light on whatever unit you've got. Now, I don't like it that much because it's not that hard to put a marker light on a target, so you can get that all across the board. But for an entire bunch shooting wherever they want, if your marker lights are gone, it's handy for sure. And the other buffs are good too. Oh, I think there's a 6-up Feel No Pain is one of the other ones. So that's pretty stellar for a squad of Fire Warriors, standing next to an Ethereal getting, hammered on. But what Scott was pointing out is that this affects Kroot and Vespids. Also, marker lights affect Kroot and Vespids. So all that firepower from Kroot, which is basically bolter shots, rapid fire 24 inches, they can ignore cover. They can, get that +1 to ballistics. They can do a couple extra cool things, and they can still benefit from the ethereal buffs if they need to. And that's something Scott was talking about, people not really knowing, because I didn't know that.
So my question is this. So can ethereal ride in transports?
Ethereal is it's an infantry unit, so yeah, it could.
Oh, okay. Just
and the Devilfish carries 12, so you could have a 10-man squad.
If the ethereal doesn't move, then it gets everything around in 6 inches of 1 to reroll?
No, it's the units had to have not moved.
Okay.
No, I don't think the ethereal. I'm not sure what the exact speculation is. I don't remember if the ethereal can give the buff if he's moved. I don't remember it off the top of my head. I don't really take ethereals.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of combo. Sorry. It's been a long day.
Yeah.
Oh, so that is cool. I think I really, man, I want to see what people are going to come up with Tau. I want to see, at the first, I want to see what people are going to do at a competitive list, because I think it'll be very interesting, because not a lot of people know about Tau, so I think it'll make it very tough.
I think it's going to be interesting. I really want to see how they're going to play against Custodes, actually, because Custodes are kind of this this new thing that's sweeping the field. There's so many shield commanders. There's so many, really, really tough units. They've got a ton of firepower with hurricane bolters, and their weaponry is great in combat. They can close distances, eat a ton of fire, and just shrug it off. And they've got a lot of wounds. They're T5, I think, and they're really awesome units. But Tau puts out so much firepower that I'm interested to see what's going to happen when a couple of shield captains rush a couple of gun lines.
Now, you'll still get that? What was that benefit? Where it's like they're linked or whatever.
Linked?
Yeah, like
the greater good. For the greater good, do they fire Overwatch for each other?
Yes.
Yes, that's pretty handy. And one thing that not a lot of people realize is that one of the Tau HQs, and he has a legendary HQ, you can only have one of them, but Darkstrider, if he's within 6 inches of the Tau unit that's been charged, and he can see the enemy unit, that Tau unit, so those Fire Warriors that got charged, can fall back and still shoot. And he can treat the target as being 1 toughness less than it is. So those shield captains can, they can rush in, but Tau are still going to have a lot that they can fire back.
That'd be definitely a good list to see fight the new Tau for sure. I'd
yes.
like to see that.
Yes, I'm eager to see how that goes. I haven't played Custodes yet, so I'm really interested to see how they play on the board.
So
at any point he uses any point in the movement phase, he chooses the buff.
Are you answering your question?
Yes.
So we also have tons of rumors with Necrons.
Yes.
So I'm excited. It's a bit of a sore spot. However, I'm okay with it because that's probably the easiest army to paint ever existing.
It almost makes me want to remember 2 years ago, Jonathan, I wanted to start Necrons.
Yeah, you even painted 10 warriors.
12. I painted the unit 12 because they come in a box of 12, right?
Okay, yeah.
So I painted the 12, and then I was like, Jonathan's already got them for the channel, and you were the Necron man. I didn't want to take any of the Necron flair, but now I really want to paint my Necrons again.
Well,
the color scheme was pretty easy.
See, you'll get the box, and then you'll have pretty much a whole small Necron force, and add to your AdMech.
Yep. Which I need to anyways, because I need another Tech Priest Dominus. And then I need the, in the box set, it comes with a unit of Rangers, right? So give me 2 more Plasma Culvers, as well as the Transonic Sniper, the stupid Sniper Rifle, whatever the hell it's called. And, then I've just got some more guys to fill in, but I don't really care about those guys.
And the Baby Knight. You got the Baby Knight.
And I got 2 Baby Knights, which I really found out playing my first game of Madden.
There's 2 in one in each box?
There's 2.
There's 2 Baby Knights.
I thought there was only 1.
Nope, 2.
Oh.
That's why we're speculating on, like, my guess is that unit together should probably be about 500 to probably 540 points, I think, would be for 2 of them. So I was thinking about what I could remove from my AdMech army to put them in there, and there's definitely something I can remove. So,
God, I hope there's a Hellforged rules. I'll be so excited.
I mean, I think they're going to they have the Renegade Knight.
Yeah.
I think there will be definitely, they'll make Renegade rules for it,
They have to. Why couldn't we steal it?
I mean, y'all have had them from, because you got to remember in the Horus Heresy, there's the book Mechanicum. And I remember in that book, they talk about the little knights going out on patrol, which were these knights. And so, if they were back in the 30K universe and half the Forge Worlds went evil and half the Forge Worlds stay good, they got these knights. So they're going to be out there,
Yeah.
Likewise, your logic is sound.
So I think it'll be very cool.
I think GW would alienate, half their player base and not sell these awesome models.
Man, I'll be making some Nurgle ones. I don't care if they can have Mark of Nurgle, but they'll be Nurgling for chaos.
Yeah. So definitely, I think the new AdMech. But the biggest thing that I found about that box set, me and Jonathan were talking about this before the show started, is when I looked at the Necron Force, I was very confused. I was like, you got a troop choice, an elite choice, and a fast attack, and then an HQ. I was like, that is a horrible way to start an army. And then with all the rumors and everything leaks we've seen, those Lich Guard are not elites anymore, right?
Yeah, they're troops.
They are troop choices.
That's pretty big because they're fairly tough. Huge. Now, I did notice that their 3-up invul has gone to a 4-up invul, and that's huge.
That is huge.
Yeah.
But 4-up invul is still good.
It is good, but not as good. But they did
not as good. But then also, y'all still get to be able to bring them back. So I think maybe that's why they upped it one. They don't want to make it too much of a unit that everyone's going to just take. Can you imagine a whole force with just Lich Guards? That just wouldn't be fun for troops.
I mean, a 4-up invul being able to be resurrected is still pretty insane. Like, that's amazing.
Because, I mean, you think about it, right? So it's what, a 5-up and they get back up, or 6-up?
It's a 5-up.
5-up. And then you put a command barge, or you put a Ghost Arc by it, right?
No, Ghost Arc only works for warriors.
Is that what the rule says now?
I'm looking it up right now.
Yeah, so I don't know if that's changed. It may be Necron. But you don't know what's going to happen, And then they released the thing on the new Cryptek, and he's got a Cryptek cloak, which was that cool spider thing. Gives him the fly keyword and a 10-inch move, which is awesome. And then he's got the repair ability. So anything with living metal, instead of doing 1 unit, he'll do D3. So you could see him jumping around the board fixing stuff with a 10-inch move.
Dynasty Warriors.
Dynasty Warriors, okay.
Yeah, that's what the new
gotcha.
New codex is.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah, sorry. Well, I guess that's not going to work, but still, just having them the ability to get back up is incredible. And they're 2 wounds, I think, right? Now, Lich Guard are 2 wounds.
Sorry, it's all scattered here. Lich
I know. I thought I saw they were 2 wounds now.
I mean, that'd be helpful. Oh, yeah, 2 wounds.
Yeah, they're 2 wounds now. That's crazy, man. That is cray-cray, dude.
And they can take war scythes now, not just the swords.
Oh, really?
Holy crap.
Oh, they can take hyperphase swords.
Well, the hyperphase swords is what they always had, but now they can take war scythes, which is +2, -4, and 2 damage apiece.
Oh, can they ride in Ghost Arcs?
No. Only Oh wait, it says each model is armed with a war scythe. So Lich Guard are armed with a war scythe. See, what bothers me is the entry shows that they are troops. However, their icon on their actual data card is showing an elite.
Oh, did you see the new Ghost Arc rule? The model can transport 10 Dynasty Warrior models, which must be warriors or characters.
Oh, I didn't know that. Well, yeah, they used to always fit like Cryptex.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Never saw anyone play that.
Yeah, I've seen it back when they used to be like open top. This is back in 7th though.
Oh, dude, imagine with Night Scythe. Oh, dropping those Lich Guard in.
Yeah, the whole squad has Night Scythes.
Yeah. Oh. No. Night Scythe, the flyer.
Oh, I meant war scythes, but yeah.
And then dropping those in now. Ooh, it's gonna be nasty.
Yeah, they're looking pretty good.
Yeah.
Can you feel that? Is that Ben? Are you okay?
Oh yeah, no, I'm reading up on it right now. I think this is really interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got to figure out what I'm up against, right? And I don't know that much about Necrons. I played as Necrons once, and I played against Necrons maybe twice. So I'm not super familiar with them, but I had considered for a little while whether or not I wanted to start a Necron army. And I was joking with the guys about how I was going to give up Tau and start playing Necrons. And I do have to say, I think that there's some really, really good stuff in here. And I was really upset with the Warriors weapon, strength 5, -1, 1 damage, or -2, 1 damage, until I came down and looked at the points cost for their weapons, because the points cost is like almost double what the model itself costs you.
Oh no. Those are you're looking at the wrong Gauss weapon. See, the Gauss blasters are the cheaper ones.
Yeah, Gauss flares are free.
Yeah, but they're only strength 4, not strength 5.
You're strength 4, -1, 1 damage.
Yeah, I was looking at a different weapon then. But still, strength 4, -1, like their troops coming with the -1. That's scary.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
So,
but the fact that they can get back up.
Hey Ben, Shepherdling Z asked us insight into the role of broadsides. So my question is, his broadsides, you've seen a lot more links than I have. Have they dropped in points?
Broadside's got a huge point drop. Not only the broadside dropped 20 points, the heavy rail rifle dropped like 20 something points, like 27 or something points. And then the smart missile system also dropped 5 points each. And since they take 2, that's another 10 points. The high yield missile pod dropped like 12, 15 points each, something like that. 16 points each, I want to say. Oh. So there's 32 points off of the model. So broadsides have come down a long way. I actually did the math on it today. I don't remember what it is, but if you're taking 2 different broadsides, the amount of points you save is almost enough to buy another broadside. So they've definitely gotten a lot more useful. They're pretty tough models as it is. They can get a benefit from cover. They can be placed in cover, and they can maintain their 2-up save. You can give them a shield generator, so they got a 4-up invul. And the rail rifles reach out pretty far. So I think they're decent models. I think they're decent units. I definitely plan on putting a few on the table because I like them a lot better than hammerheads. Hammerheads get 1 shot, and I whiff all the time, and it makes me crazy. At least the broadsides get 2. They still get all the other benefits that every other unit gets. So I would absolutely take a broadside over a hammerhead.
Okay, interesting.
And they don't degrade. At least unless they have upped the wounds, they don't degrade. So they're solid.
4 or 5 wounds?
Like 6?
6? Yeah, they're not going to upgrade it to you get 10. That'd be ridiculous. Oh, interesting. Okay.
I've always had a thing for hammerheads, though. Even that 1 shot, when it hits, and you're like, and then it goes, and things exploded.
But it's only D6, and that sounds petty. It's only D6, but only D6 is any other Melta, any other las cannon, any other thing, and so many of them are getting multiple shots one way or another. It's so expensive, and it's just a one-trick pony. You've got this cannon that can reach all the way across the board, and if you miss, you miss, and then it just sits there for the rest of the turn. because you're not putting them up in the front line. You're trying not to move them so that they take a penalty to their hits, so they're hitting on 5s instead of 4s. And even if you give it a smart missile system, something's got to be within 30 inches before it's useful. So typically, I think Hammerheads sit on the back line, and they only took them down like 17 points, 19 points, which is not nearly enough. If they give them a second shot, that would be a little bit better. If they give them D3 shots, then a Hammerhead would see a lot more play for me.
What, TJ, what was that profile we looked at? Was it yesterday that was strength 10, but it was D6 shots? What was that? Was that the monolith?
Necrons?
Yeah, from Necrons, I think.
Oh God, what was that? Let me look at it. It wasn't a stalker.
Was it the particle whip from the monolith? No.
Doomsight's got a strength 10 minus 4d6, and it's heavy d3, but that's the death ray, and it's 24-inch range.
Yeah. It was.
Ooh, Doomsday Arc, high power.
That's it.
That's it.
High power, 72 inches, heavy D6, strength 10, -5. -5.
So good.
No saves for anything.
That is no saves.
Dude,
No saves.
that is hilarious. I mean, I like Tau, but dang.
And you liked your Doomsday Arcs, Jonathan.
I loved my Doomsday Arc. And I would just park it there because rotating on the spot didn't count as movement. So I would just.
That was 7th edition, and now it doesn't matter which way you're facing.
Oh my God. Oh, I didn't even think of that. I'm so excited now. Oh.
I've heard that there is a ton of salt coming from the Tau players. And honestly, I can see why. I'm a touch salty myself because my codex hasn't even come out yet, and I'm looking at Necron stuff like.
A touch?
I mean, here's the thing. Here's the thing. You're looking at, we can all see the Necron Codex now, right? Or what the beta version, which I seriously doubt it's the beta version, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But on top of it, with Tau, y'all are waiting for your codex. And they've released all these great articles, and they've gone over like half the freaking seps, and everyone's all like, Tau, Tau, Tau. And then this comes out, and everyone's like, whoa, I can actually see the entire codex, which is way better than the little bits and pieces. And so, yes, more people are definitely excited about this.
Well, I think that's the biggest like insult to injury for all the Tau players, because I've been waiting for the Tau Codex since I started playing. I started playing in 7th, right at the end of 7th, and I was playing Tau, and I was really digging them. And then once I switched over to Space Marines, because I wasn't that impressed with them anymore. I've been playing this whole time, waiting for my codex, and I've been so excited. And the codex comes out, and I'm starting to read all this stuff, and I'm like, that sounds really good. That sounds mediocre. That sounds like I'll never use it. And I've immediately, like, all right, I'm probably never going to use these sets. And I was, thinking about all these different ways that I could do this and make this useful, even though I don't think it's going to be that useful. And I put all this planning and strategy into it. I was like, yeah, I think it's going to be an okay codex. And then all this Necron stuff comes out before my codex is even here. And I'm just like, well.
Screw the steps. It's all about the dynasties now.
Man, it's
all about the Benjamins.
They've got some crazy, crazy stuff.
I'm stoked, man. I've always enjoyed my Necrons. It just, for a while, I got bored of them. Plus, I think I didn't like how I painted them. And it started wearing on me after a while. And that whole Snowcron thing, I was like, I'm done. So I want to do something completely different that hopefully I like. And it's not going to be too hard to get into because I'll be able to just probably split that box because, a lot of people want those little knights.
Yep.
Plus, I know a guy that owns a store, and I could probably get good deals.
Is it me?
Oh, well, I know a guy that's a little bit more handsomer.
Oh, yeah, John the Viking? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That beard does it for me.
So silly. So very silly. But no, the Necron stuff, now the worst part is we have the leaks, and now we have to wait and see when they're actually, because they said they're going to release the Codex before the end of March. That is insane.
Wait, the Necron Codex?
Yep.
What?
You didn't read that?
I didn't read that part. No.
Oh, you didn't read the Cryptex thing?
Okay, so this weekend is pre-order for the new Forge box.
Forge Bane?
Forge Bane? Yeah, Forge Bane box. And so that means it's coming out the next week. And then probably that would put, so next week, that put on the 24th. So maybe that week when the Forge Bane comes out, you can pre-order your Necron Codex. I don't know yet. Because that would put it to the 31st for release, which will still be in March.
Yeah.
I wonder.
So what do you guys think about the power creep that's going on with the new codexes?
How much is Forge Bane? Clopfoot asked.
I don't know. It's a starter box. What's the starter box now? 150?
Yeah, so I think it's probably about 150, 160 bucks probably.
Yeah, I think 160. So 160 bucks.
Yeah.
That's not bad for 2 nights.
No, man.
So you think about it right there. Let's break it down real quick. So $35 is the average price. $30 to $35 is the average price for a blister HQ, right? So there's like 60 or 70 bucks, right? And then you figure those 2 nights, those nights are at least going to be 60 to 70 bucks would be my guess. So right there, you've already got basically the cost of the box. Units Qatari is what, 40, 35 for that unit? Immortals are what, 30 bucks?
Yeah.
Immortals are 30 bucks.
There might be more than that.
The Lich Guard are 30 bucks. And then the spiders, I think, are what, 50, 55? So you're looking at like $400 worth of models easily.
Do you think the Little Knight's going to be AdMech unit only?
I think no, because they said you could field it with an Imperial Knight army.
So is it probably just going to be Imperium?
Yeah, it's going to be Imperial. It'll be Imperial Knight something, and then the AdMech. It'll have those AdMech keywords in there, so you can play with your AdMech army.
Well, I mean, all you need is Imperium to play with your AdMech.
Huh? Yeah, Imperial will be the first keyword.
Yeah,
and then it'll be like Imperial Knight or something, and then like it'll be like what is the one? What does it say here? What does it say for the knight here in the codex? My guess is the keywords, if I can find it, will be Imperium, Questor Mechanicus, and then Household. So it'll probably be the same thing. So it'll be Imperium, Questor Mechanicus, and then Household will be the other knight ones. So you just got to pick a household to put them in. But because they're Questor Mechanicus, then you get those abilities to tie in with your AdMech army.
I'm going to put them in my household.
Your household?
Yep.
The house of Poopanazi?
Poopanazi?
Yeah.
Like I don't let you poop? Like I'm a poop Nazi? Like you can't poop at my house?
No, I was just saying because you're like Nurgle, and and then also they're all about those Nurgling Death Guard and a bunch of Nazis. So yeah, there you go. So you're a Putin Nazi.
Good correlation.
Yeah, I know. It was fantastic.
It was a bad save, but it's okay.
Let's see. I'm going to do Baby Nights with my IG Canadians and whoop. And then whoop, laugh out loud, boop. Boop. Yeah, I think a lot of people are going to get those knights to put them in their army.
Oh yeah.
I think one would look really good in green.
I think a lot of the Mechanicus stuff will be up on eBay. People just go buy it for the knights.
Yeah. You'll see a lot of Tech Priest Dominus up and everything like that, but I need 2 of them anyways. Because I found out when I played my army having 1, man, I need 2 so I can have 2 different castles. Because you really need 2 different castles to move out with your AdMech. You can't just have 1. Doesn't work too well.
Well, as we talked about a little bit, AdMech is kind of one of those underpowered armies right now, right?
What?
Underpowered?
Well, let's just put it this way. They had their day in 7th edition.
Yeah, I kind of
with Warcon.
I had to express that to people about Tau too. But so what do you guys think about, because Space Marines not really super competitive these days. I get creamed most every time I play my Salamanders.
Yeah, but you got to remember, like, you're playing the same handful of lists that you can create. There's a lot of more stuff out there that you don't have of your army, and then there's different combinations as well that are very competitive.
Well, I haven't. That's the thing. Maybe I'm trying to say is I haven't seen a whole lot of competitive Space Marines unless they had Primarch. So I guess what I'm saying is, I've talked to a couple of people. They think that the Space Marines Codex is a little outdated, and everything else has kind of got some new cool stuff. When do you guys think we're going to see another Codex? When do you think they're going to start redoing all the codexes?
So here's the thing right now.
A long time.
Yeah. So Space Marines are still competitive. The problem now is every other army is competitive, except for a handful. There's a handful of armies that just aren't, that are crap. I mean, that are on that bottom tier of competitiveness that do have codexes. And I have 2 of them. One is the Grey Knights, and the other is Admech.
You got to remember, though, it's always been that way since we played. It's always called the Codex creep. And each time a new codex come out, it's a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better. Now GW is doing a fantastic job of ensuring that they're making sure that the codex creep doesn't really happen too much. So the Admech unfortunately are getting missed in this, and like Death Guard are equally good. And usually the first codex that drops, which was Death Guard,
well, Space Marines was
usually the worst.
Yeah, which is Space Marines.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And technically, unless you're playing with Ultramarines or Raven Guard, then your ability for competitiveness just goes downhill.
I agree.
I mean, I've come up with some. I'm trying to think of ways to make an Imperial Fist list that is legitimately good, like that you could run competitively. That I could run. So I could be competitive at LVO and maybe go 3 for 3, and I can't think of a list. I honestly can't. Me and Jonathan were talking about it, and I told him, here's about one of the only combinations I can think about doing with Imperial Fist that would be pretty sick right now. Is that I take a captain, just strip down pretty much bare metal. I'll put him in a drop pod, put him in a unit with Centaurians. And the 3 Centaurians would all be heavy bolters and hurricane bolters. Then probably a unit of Terminators. And then I would take an interceptor squad. And the rest would, I do some point filling in to get my 3 troop choices and all the other stuff and do that. And the only thing I could think of that is I could drop that in on someone and I'm going to get a ton of bolter fire. And completely just like, for a Horde army, I think I'd be pretty competitive against. But like an armor, I'd be really bad. But, it's like you're trying to think of different combinations and stuff you could do that would be really beneficial. And it's really hard to do that with like Space Marines Imperial Fist, Space Marines Salamanders. And that's the problem, I think, is that you're facing, Ben. Is it also, too, you bought John's army, and John's army is a 30K army.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's not a 40K army.
It's not a bad army, and there's a ton, there's a good mix, but I am kind of shoehorned by what I've got. And, there's so many things I can do, and there's a few things that I'd really like to do, but dumping the extra money into it and dumping the extra time into painting models, which is not exactly my forte. It's not something I really wanted to do yet until I was sure of where I wanted to go with it. I really want to do a Bray Arthash panel and some of the other characters, but the more and more I think about how to run Salamanders competitively, I just come up with a lot of blanks. There are good Space Marine units, absolutely, but I have yet to really crunch the numbers and find the synergy that I think would be effective against, an all-comers list, against, a lot of the stuff that I face off against. I don't know, maybe I need to talk to more Space Marines players or, a couple Salamanders players, but I don't know what I need to do to make a Salamanders list competitive, because now what am I trying to say? Their chapter tactic is great, right? It's awesome. It's super handy, but one reroll to hit and one reroll to wound only goes so far when, against Raven Guard, everything's taking a -1 to hit you outside of 12 inches. Like, that's insane.
Yep. And plus the Ultramarines, too, is the same thing I think you're going to have with the Tau Codex, is that a lot of the special characters on Tau Codex are Tau Sept.
That's terrifying to me. I have not seen which one's which yet, and I'm really scared because if like Darkstrider or some of these really crucial characters,
They're all Tau Sept, dude.
then you're shoehorning and taking Tau Sept or not having any of the good units, and that's going to frustrate the hell out of me.
Dude,
Well, you're just gonna have to use a Tau Sept.
that's just like Death Guard, though. If you choose Death Guard, you don't get a whole bunch of chaos stuff. Everybody's kind of got their limitations. The only people who have access to everything is Imperium.
Yeah, but a lot of times with the Imperium, though, I mean, like people talk about it, and they do some good Imperial soup lists, but still, you're still missing that synergy, of the buffs and everything.
True.
So, I mean, there's always drawbacks in everything to anything. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But I'll be really frustrated if I can't use Cadre Fireblades or because there's only so many HQs for Tau, and most of them are really cheap. Yeah. But Darkstrider is crucial. Darkstrider is a really easy model to substitute if you do some customization on a Pathfinder. You've got an awesome Darkstrider model, and it's a great unit. It's not expensive. It's one of the few 2-up ballistic skills in the game, and he's got a couple of good skills. But if you mandate that he's one sept or another, like that's a bummer because so many Tau players rely on the few characters there are. Like, I mean, Commander Farsight's obviously Farsight, like that's fine. And Commander Shadow Sun, I don't remember. I think she's Viorla or whatever it is.
Yep.
And I mean the main ethereals on Shi and on Va, I can see them being Tau Sept. That's fine.
Hold on. Travis goes, did I hear Pathfinder? That's good.
Like that.
No, Travis, you did not. Right now, Gimme, Froggy, Andrew's character. What's Andrew's character's name?
Ossetir is
Ossetir and Ethan are sitting in the snow, surrounded by a fire, and just chilling. And good old Fearg is probably in the town that we left getting some interesting talking to by Lady Argentia and at the bar.
Probably getting praise as well.
And I know he's getting praised by all the townsfolk.
And money.
And money's.
All the money, just raining gold pieces, which would probably hurt.
We're sitting in the snow right now, and we can't move because our DM or GM has disappeared on us. He just
went to open a game store somewhere.
Went to go open a game store and make an entire room to play Pathfinder in.
And he took the 2 best characters from the entire party.
Say what?
I said, and he took the 2 best characters from the entire party.
Me and Travis aren't there.
Yeah, why would I? You think you're the best character? That's adorable.
No. You're the one who screwed up everything.
This is true.
That's fine.
True.
I'm a Gripply monk. That's awesome.
And he hangs out with his captor that beat him up.
I know. Totally.
Syndrome's a real thing.
Beat him up and stuck him in the back and almost killed him. Yeah, that makes sense.
Don't shame the victim, guys.
Well, okay.
I mean, realistically though, if you're a 2-foot tall, 30-pound frog, and there's a 8-9 foot tall half orc that already beat the crap out of you, and you're like, hey man, screw you, I'm gonna go run off into the cold where I will die. Or you're just gonna kind of hang out and just kind of keep your head down.
You know what, Jonathan? You should not give him any points for role playing. You want to know why? Because him and John are buddies in real life, so he's like, "Oh, John's my buddy," and just already assumed it. And then because you said something to him, he went bent and got bitten butt hurt, and was like, eh.
Travis says, "Don't shame the victim." He said, "That's what you did to the victim. You shamed her."
And she should be ashamed. Because she was not a very nice word.
And Tyler also said the fire will go out and then your character's butts will freeze to the ground.
Yeah, that's probably going to happen. No, we're just going to keep on adding more fire to fire it. We're just going to put firewood on there and just keep chilling in the snow. I got my 9-foot weasel cape on me. I'm warm as shit.
John and I were so excited when we came up with the story too. We're like, how are we gonna, get me into the story? What are we gonna do? And we just started spitballing ideas, and we were just laughing our faces off. And we're like, this is awesome. We got to do it. And I told Jonathan about it, and he was laughing his face off. And he's like, we got to do it. And then everyone else was like, you're dumb. It doesn't make any sense.
No. The way you got in was good. but the fact that y'all are buddy doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah, that's the only part that don't make sense. Other than that, it was hilarious.
No, the way you came in the game and, the whole dumping you out of the bag and putting you back in, all that stuff was priceless, classic. But then the fact that you're like, oh, hi, buddy, let's be friends.
I'm going to ride in your cape.
I'm going to ride in your cape now. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to stay warm. I'm a survivor. I'm not going to give up.
Oh, God. Worst monk ever.
He is the worst monk ever.
Yeah, but you got to think about it. When you start a Pathfinder game, you're level 1, right? We're not starting at level 5, so I just became a monk like very recently. I'm not like this perfect prim and proper kung fu master. Like I was just like, I think I'm going to become a monk now, like in the very recent history. So you can't expect me to be all polished and perfect.
Dude,
like
you're playing your character too close to reality, Ben. Ben's like, I'm going to play 40K now.
And look how well that's turned out.
A big giant army.
I'm a pretty good guy. I think that's fine. Playing my character just like me sounds pretty good.
And
what did you say? I'm a pretty what?
I said I'm a pretty good guy.
He's very humble too.
Pretty good guy.
I'm pretty good. I'd give myself a solid B+.
I'll
just give you you're kind of in kindergarten. I'm just going to give you a check mark.
Participation.
You'll get an S for satisfactory.
I mean, Ben is kind of snowflake, so we'll just give him that good old check mark. We don't want to give him any grades. He's going to get all butt hurt.
It makes me think of that meme of the gold star. It just says, "You tried."
Pretty much.
I like it.
It's accurate.
I think that's Ben. He tried. Check mark.
Ben showed up today. Role-playing points.
All right. So besides Pathfinder, that was a fun little
that was a fun
side note there. So there's something else big. So some of you guys might have been hearing about these chess clocks, and you're like, oh, haha, that's a joke. Right now, they have actual rules for ITC, the practice rules that were put together with our friends over at Frontline Gaming and a bunch of other people from other forums and such that got together and created these rules. And they're kind of in the test phase right now. And a lot of people are liking them. So I was even thinking about doing it for our Mortal Wounds segment and having the clock.
So I mean, yeah. So how do you use the clock, Jonathan?
So basically, you have it for your turn, and you get a certain amount of time, and you play it on your turn. It basically starts from the top, and you have a certain amount of time. Each person has a certain amount of time, and so basically, if you run out of time, you kind of screwing yourself. Someone else may be able to get a turn on you.
Yeah.
So it helps you level out and pay attention to your playing instead of instead of just trying to be like, well, sorry, I was just reading what Ben wrote under my profile. Anyway.
Your profile?
Yeah, FNP Wargamers.
Yeah, that's what Jonathan uses. You need to be using the Ben one.
That's so weird. What does that say next to my little salamander picture?
No, we're talking about in the chat. Anyway. Oh, that's good. That's a good one. Anyway, so yeah, basically, a lot of times they're even talking about like hurrying up the game with like combat and stuff. Now, a big argument came up with less points to resolve the issue. So it's either less points or clock, and then are people going to be abusing the clock? Are people going to be, oops, I forgot about the clock? There's a lot of different aspects that kind of go along with it. But I definitely want to try for a competitive side of it, to try it out.
I think a tournament play should be 1750.
Why?
Huh?
Well, don't bring these numbers that 1850 at one point and
no, 1750 should be points.
Why not 1500? Nice and even.
Nah, 1500 is too small. 1750 is 1500 points. Usually, no matter what, if you're playing, you can usually get in a game, you can get it done in about 2.5 hours. Usually with 1,500 points, unless you're playing some really crazy lists, like huge horde armies, usually get done in like an hour and a half, easily for 1,500 points.
That's a pretty good point, man.
But 1750, because usually it's about a 2 hour to 2.5 hours. 1750, you can get in. You should be able to get a game in with 1750 in 2.5 hours easily. That 2K mark is when it. I think that 2K mark is really about 2,400 or 2,500 in what 7th edition used to be, or maybe 2,250 or maybe 2,300. But still, it's putting it up there to where you're getting at that limit to where, unless the two players playing are boom, 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 you get to that 2.5 hour, 2 hour mark pretty quick.
I mean, how many games did you get all the way through at LVO? Like through every single turn?
I got through all my games. Well, so my first game, I think I got through like turn 4 or 4, and I think we called it because I pretty much had the win. My second game, what's my second game? What did I play for the second game? The second game I got done pretty quickly, but I was playing a guy who knew his list really well, and I knew my list really well, so we were really quick and really spot on. There wasn't a whole lot of rule questions. There wasn't anything. My fourth game was, I mean, I got done early, but it was because he had played Necrons and I had played, and so we really knew our armies. The Eldar game I played after that was, we went down to the wire. We went down. It was 2.5 hours. It was.
And what turn were you on?
We got to turn 5.
Oh, wow.
Bloody and brutal, but by turn 5, the turns went really quickly. Like our first 2 turns were probably an hour and a half. And the only reason why is after that, a lot of stuff was dead and my movement got really short, and so did his. And then my last game, I played Tau and I got done in an hour and a half. He killed me quick. It was commander spam. But, I mean, I know, Jonathan, the games you wiped on the tables, either you got wiped or you wiped them out, didn't you? So you were done pretty quick?
Well, I never got tabled, but the ones I didn't table people, I tabled them all before turn 4.
Yeah.
But the other ones, the first game I did, and I did poorly. That one we got to turn 4.
Yeah.
That was a BS turn because I was letting the excitement of everything, and he was like, "Oh well, let's just do points, and this would be this." And I'm like, "Whoa!" And then he's like, "No, so we get the most points or whatever," and he ended up winning, and it kind of pissed me off. But besides the point, we only made it to turn 4. So most of my games never went really past what they were supposed to be.
Is that airplane loud?
Yeah, man. I don't know what
I'll go say something to the pilot. Okay, he heard me.
Airplane. Okay. I heard it's something loud, and I was like, yeah, it's loud. I don't know what it is.
I have the windows open. It's nice tonight.
Matt said most games that he plays, his opponent concedes before the 3rd or 4th turn in shooting. What do you play, Matt? Besides Ninja Turtle role-playing game.
What?
Okay, this has to be read out loud. I used to play a Ninja Turtle role-playing game, and I made a very vicious koala bear.
That's awesome.
Well, what? Oh, Astra Militarum. Yeah, I mean, there's some games where you just lay a ton of firepower down, and yeah, you do get them over pretty quick. But the thing is the time, and I just don't feel like, I feel like 2,000 points is too much.
I hadn't really thought of that.
Right on point.
I really agree with you. I really do. Because so many of my games at LVO came, our last turn was on turn 4, and we split the difference, of 15 minutes apiece, 10 minutes apiece, and we were just rushing. And that sucked. Like, I mean, I like getting the full turns, and I think that part of it was just how much shooting we had, how much extra stuff we had. I think that extra 250, 150 points. I don't know if 1850 would be realistic, but I think 1750 would.
I think like it should always be like 250 point increments. Makes it easier. That 1850 was just, yeah. And then you remember towards the end of 7th edition tournaments too, they went up to 2,000 points, and it was, yeah. But I think the armies are just getting too big, and like you're just able to add too much. I don't know, but I think 1750 should be the. I don't know. I just feel like it should be 1750.
You know, I really do agree.
Too small.
Like so many things, like I'm like, oh, I'm gonna, you know, I can cram a 500-point Spartan in, and then I've still got 1,500 points.
Yeah.
To make, you know, all this crazy stuff. Like, I mean, that Lord of War is enormous, and I don't know. Yeah, I agree with you. I think that's interesting. I think we ought to play a couple more 1750 games and see how they go.
Yeah, I think it'd be interesting. You know, it's not really the meta now, right now, and it's not that. I think 1750. Instead of fixing this, I think like instead of fixing the clocks and all the other stuff and coming up with all this stuff, if you just lower the point value and try it like at 1750, or if you want to do 1800, I don't care, but you know, drop it by 200, 250 points, and I think it would be definitely, you'd see different dynamics and different people playing. You know,
You don't like the clocks?
I just think the clocks are, I mean, for some people they're beneficial, but other people, like, people are still going to slow play the crowd.
Well,
that's the interesting
And
thing.
then on top of that too, if you're playing competitive and you really want a good game in, you got to think. I mean, I understand the slow playing stuff, but you know, I mean, you got to think about your moves. You know, I mean, so yeah, I mean, so you said you can't think about what you're going to do on your first turn. You got to move real quick. You know, I mean, then I think we're into the point of where you're rushing people, and yeah, then a whole bunch of more mistakes are going to happen. I think bigger rule questions are going to happen with the clock. Because you'll be like, oh, I said that. No, you did. I know. I don't remember you saying that on your turn. Yeah, I did. You know, I think you're going to see a lot more. I mean,
judges are going to be busy.
Judges are going to be way more busy because everyone's going to be like, I'm on a clock, man. Get the judge over here. You know.
Well, that's the thing that was mentioned is that if you have a rules dispute, both clocks get paused. Like hands down, the clock gets paused.
Yeah.
But yeah, then what happens if you're really running the clock and you'll both forget to turn off the clock and you look down and 2 minutes have run off?
That's true. Let me. I thought about it. Let's say in a tournament, okay. TJ, you're going first. I'm going second, and we're at turn 4.
Yep.
And we have 10 minutes.
Yep.
Right. And you start playing your turn.
Yep.
And you play it to 9 minutes. Does that turn count? Do you get a whole half turn? I mean, how does it work? Because basically the argument was always, well, if there's not enough time to play one full game turn,
you don't play it.
Play it.
Or else you split the time that's remaining.
Correct. But
each player would get 5 minutes.
The problem is I've seen it where they're like, oh no, it's dice down. It's like, really? So you get a whole turn of whatever and I get nothing?
No, I would absolutely call that no. I would say no.
I haven't had someone tried to do that, and I was like, no. We're not going to play the turn. That's it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, if so, I think at the end of the game, if it comes down to that, you don't play the turn. But yeah, I mean, like, there's no way if it was 10 minutes left and it's your turn, Jonathan, and you're like, yeah, let's play the next turn. I'd be like, in my head, I'd be like, no, hold on. Nah, man, you can't play this turn. I'm not going to have enough time to play my turn. Even if you split it in 5 minutes, I don't think you'd even get the turn in, you know?
And that's something that should be agreed upon by both players. Like, do you want to split it? And you'll have 5 minutes, I'll have 5 minutes, and both players are like, yeah, sure, you know, I can score this objective, or I might be able to do this, and I might be able to pull the win out. And if both players agree, sure, that's fine with me. But I agree. You know, if there's not enough time to play a turn realistically, then the game ends.
I just think by putting the clock on it, you're going to rush people, and then people are going to make mistakes. And then there's going to be a lot more frustration, I think, on both sides of the field.
I agree. But, I mean, dude, I don't know why. Like, the first game, I made so many mistakes until I got my head into the game. And I think part of it was because the complex ITC ruling for all the scoring, I had no idea.
Yeah.
First game, I had no idea how that crap worked.
I actually read through it like 3 times.
So did I. I didn't know how.
I didn't understand it until like after I played the first game, to be honest with you.
Yeah. On the second game, it clicked. Like, boom. Oh, I know this easily. It was weird. And
I think we should have played test games with it.
Yeah, we really should have. I mean, we did test games, but we didn't actually do the ITC.
I don't think like even the last couple of times that I played ITC, like last year's LVO, and then I played War Games Con and stuff like that, and they were using those missions. I had those missions like I read over them, I'm like, oh, this is easy. And I figured it out really quick. But when it came down to like this ITC mission, I was like, 1 point, did I kill more units? I'm like, what units are we talking about? I'm like, you know, it was just like it was very confusing, you know.
And then that leads to mistakes, not just being time, but just because you already have a 2.5-hour game. I'm like, oh man, it's my first game. This is going to set the precedence of the tournament, to be honest.
And then the thing is deployment, though, man.
Say what?
Deployment too. And when you're selecting the, you know, like in ITC, right, the beginning part of that mission, right, is you have to select the 3 secondary objectives, right?
Yeah.
And there's like, you know, even though you're sitting across and he knows his army, you're like, hey, how many wounds do those characters? Because you don't know. Not everyone knows all the rules. And you're like, are those have double wounds? Those have 2 wounds? And you have a unit of 5. Okay. And what about that one over there? Same thing. And then you're like thinking about it, you're like, no, I can't fulfill that secondary objective. Okay. I'll do this one, and then where's your warlord at? You know, and you're like, oh, he's got multiple wounds and you got 2 characters. Okay, I can do the assassination one or something, you know? So it's just, there's still time where you're discussing that, you know? And I think.
I mean, how long is deployment going to take? Especially for a 2,000 point army.
That's the problem. It varies by the army sizes. I mean, so I think what they should try is to cut it down to 1750. Mm-hmm. Cut 250 points out.
With the time clock. I think they ought to try it with the clock, with the time clock and without it. Because at 1750, like you were saying, you know, you're going to feel rushed. But I think with that extra wiggle room, you're not going to be as rushed. You're not going to have as many units to move and shoot and, you know, roll for saves and stuff like that. That's the other thing, too, is they talked about, you know, if it's your saves, you can push the time clock right back to them. They roll their saves and they push it back to you, you know. Like, that's if somebody's got 24 models they've got to pick up, you push the time to them. That's their action they've got to do.
Yeah, but I mean, I can fit a crap ton of orcs in 1,500 points. You know what I mean? So it still goes back to great. It's 1,500, and it may not be 2,000, but I'm playing a custode army that has 8 dudes, and now his time on his clock is vastly superior to my time because I'm moving so many models.
Well, I think that comes down to is orcs as competitive as custodes in that case. I don't think it's never going to be perfectly fair. It's not. There's no way we're going to make it perfectly fair.
Well, here's the thing, though. If you're playing orcs and you're going to play a horde army and you're coming to a tournament, you should do something to where you know that you can move your units faster.
Yeah, you should know better going to a time tournament. You know in advance it's time. You absolutely should be ready to do that. Otherwise, it's your own fault. If you're I didn't have any time. I ran out of time on turn 2 and I died. You shouldn't have brought a horde army you couldn't play quickly.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, now you're chastising a new player or something that just wanted to bring some orcs and be like, oh, I want to have fun. I'm going to go to LVO. And then they play and then like, oh, wait, I don't have time to do anything.
But LVO is the biggest competition in the U.S. Like, I mean, LVO is not your beginner player. Like, I really didn't have a whole lot of business competing in LVO. I was pretty freaking green showing up at LVO.
But you still did 3 and 3.
No, I did 2 and 4.
2 and 4. That's still as TJ's record last year. So I mean,
yeah.
One of the players I beat was newer than me, or at least he played like he was newer than me.
Yeah. So
and let's be realistic. I've been playing against you guys the entire time I've been playing. It's not like I've been playing, you know, against super casual lists in game stores. I've been playing against veterans that know what the heck they're doing. You guys teach me rules every time we play. Every single time you guys help me. And
players who know what they're doing?
Yes.
Who are you talking about?
Not you, TJ.
Oh, okay.
Get off the screen.
That's the weirdest part about this whole dynamic. I've become the experienced player. Y'all are asking me rule questions. What is going on with this world?
Because you're older.
Yeah, I'm older, but that doesn't mean I know the rules any better. And I'm going to be the tournament player. You're writing everything on me right now. Me as a tournament player.
I was trying to pay you guys a compliment. What happened?
No, I don't know what I'm doing. Never do. Jonathan knows this. I just kind of flow with it.
Well, Jonathan's whack. He's a whack player. So, I mean,
No, that's only in Magic when he's playing Ryan. He's got to win.
That was the only time. That was a bad side, and I didn't miss that Jonathan for sure.
I didn't miss it either.
Yeah, neither did I.
When he played me, it was fun and enjoyable. And then I played Ben. And Ben was like over there like, I swear to God, I thought I was playing like the magic guy who was like calculating.
Well, part of it, I was like trying to remember how to play the game.
It's your turn. And he's like calculating. He's like, well, if I buff this and do this, and I'm just like, hey, Ben, so in order to play this card, I got to turn these 3 lands. And you're like, yeah. I'm like, okay. I attack. Your turn, buddy. And Ben's over there like contemplating, reading the cards.
But there's 2 things to that. There's 2 big key retorts to that. One, I'm relearning how to play the game, and I don't know what any of the cards are because I just put them into a deck. 2, Jonathan got a buy for like, oh yeah, the old Jonathan came out. Ha ha ha, that guy's gone. Well, Ben used to have to play against old Jonathan that you know because you saw him. That's what I used to have to play against. So I had to put my magic game face on. And I just
versus
went
TJ for his 3rd game of Magic.
It was PTSD, man. It's just Jonathan just like bashed me so hard when we played that I just automatically, when there's magic cards in my hands, I'm like, how do I win? I must not lose.
Let's point out that we played like 3 or 4 games before Ben even had his deck together because he was hardcore reading the cards.
Yeah, I've never been good at.
There was an hour and a half time period that I was like, yeah, I should probably just leave now. Ben's not done making his deck. I've been sitting here for an hour and a half. And then you know the worst part about his deck, Jonathan?
Right.
It was a starter deck that Ryan put together. Almost identical.
Well, yeah, we both bought the same deck.
An hour and a half putting together a starter deck. Ryan put that deck together in 5 minutes. Ryan was like, okay, cool.
Ryan's a 2-time world champion. I'm not a 2-time world champion. I can't even, putting me on the same level as Ryan is just going way too far.
Okay, that's what happened. You're like, oh, hey, Jonathan, you want to play this magic game that you used to play really hardcore and be really good at? And you're going to play the 2-time vintage champion that, you know, he's right here. And I was like, I need to win. I need to win this. And so I was doing like the serious like tournament, you go. 5 damage. You know? God.
So the thing is, in a week or so, whenever Jonathan's playing again, he's going to start to come out. This thing, oh, I made this thing. I win.
No, I'm not doing that anymore. I've already been pretty clear with. First off, I'm not going to take part of my own stock, and then I'm also going to just keep the decks that are there, and that's it. Just have a good time with those.
It's fun to brew a fun deck though. Like, I mean, that's why we build lists. That's why we play with the numbers. We like to see what's competitive and like what's going to be good together. What kind of combos we can put together. So I think Magic's fun. It's a little bit different though. There's not as much strategy versus okay, I have an opportunity. It's more black and white than Warhammer, I think, because you either have the cards on the table and you either attack with them or use the cards you have to make decisions, or else with Warhammer, it's all about positioning and which target is your priority. So it's all already on the table. You don't know what they've got in their hand. You don't know what they've got in their hand.
Way more confused playing Magic.
Well, it's just because you haven't played it that often.
Oh, that's why Warhammer is confusing for you, because you haven't played it that often.
Warhammer's confusing, but I can see my opponent's entire army and exactly where they are.
Yeah,
in relation to my own army.
You're talking about a thing of top decking, what you're going to draw of chance. And then obviously if you do things to get better of chance of what you're drawing, that's possible. There's no real chance of getting better dice. You know what I mean?
You just said that. Did you say that dice don't have any chance involved with them?
No. Dice are full chance. And you don't really have anything to help mitigate the chance except some rerolls, but that's it.
Yeah, it's just like you were saying, Ben. You don't want to take hammerheads anymore because you roll like crap with them.
Mm-hmm.
While other people are like, hammerheads are badass because I roll really well and I can shoot.
Yeah, some people are like, I hit every time with my hammerhead.
Dude, I'm telling you, the last time I had hammerheads out, I had 2 hammerheads next to Long Strike, who gives them a +1. So all the hammerheads are hitting on 3s because none of them move, and they're shooting at targets with marker lights. So they're hitting on 2s. They're all hitting on 2s. And you know how many wounds I did in 4 rounds of shooting? I don't know, but it wasn't enough to kill a Defiler.
Dude, Defilers are a rough sauce. They have an info save.
Yes. I know.
Bad target priority.
Well, it was good for what was going on because there wasn't anything else big enough on the table that I could shoot. However, when I dumped all of my,
Don't they have a single shot or a spread shot?
Yeah, but I don't know. It's not.
Oh, unit of bloodletters, spread shot, good target.
Boom.
D6 shots, no bloodletter, or I take out the big thing that's walking at my ghost keel.
Yeah, but
what big thing that you didn't kill anyways?
No, I didn't kill anything. I missed too many shots and made a lot of invols.
Yeah.
A 5-up's good, but a 5-up's not foolproof. A 5-up's not foolproof.
So Leo, he said, I've been playing 40K since '89, and that's one drawback, no fog of war. Now, that is very true. I had the idea back in early 7th, to write down what you have in your Rhino. So you describe your Rhino and you write the unit in it. And when you deploy it, you don't tell your opponent what's in the Rhino, because unless they have the best intelligence in the world and they know who jumped inside that Rhino before it just deployed out of the freaking warp, it makes no sense. You know, you don't know what's in it. And I always thought that would be a fun way.
Would that be?
You know what I mean? Like, you don't know what's in any vehicle.
Dude, that'd be fun to play a game like that.
Yeah, we could do it for Lost in the Warp. It'd be fun.
Yeah. So that reminds me of Infinity. So recently, Jonathan and I got a demo on Infinity, and we found out there's a unit called a Ninja that literally so cool. So what you do when you're setting up the board is your opponent has to turn around and not look, and you set your Ninja where you're going to put him. You take a picture with your phone, and then you pick him back up, and he's not on the board. Yeah. And then whenever your opponent gets next to him, you go, okay, my Ninja's right there, and I'm going to attack you. I'm going to stab you in the face because you walked right by him. Dude, you put him anywhere on the board.
Dude, that's so cool, too.
It's so cool.
He's like, yeah, you take a picture of him, and then that proves where he's at. I was like,
time out. I got a question. When did Ben get cry and start butt hurting when you were winning, Jonathan?
When I killed his first guy. We had 3 guys apiece, and I killed his first guy, and it just went I killed his first guy,
Yeah, there were lots of tears shed, and, you know, the butt, I had an ice pack on the butt because the butt was hurt. So, you know.
God, Ben. It's just a game.
Yeah, I know. It's why I got an ice pack.
Well,
it's just a game.
Well,
and he's actually made me say in my mind, Jonathan, and I've told Jonathan this, I go, I'm not playing Ben ever again in Magic. I will play John, Ryan, anyone else who comes out of the shop of Ben.
That's fine.
That was honestly, experience of me ever playing a game like for the first time ever. I've got like a super ultra competitive player who's playing a guy against his 3rd time playing Magic, and he's just like
super ultra competitive. That's fun. I kind of take that as a compliment because I'm a crappy Magic player.
And you know what the funny part is, Jonathan? Yeah. You know the reason why I've had fun playing Ben in 40K? It's because he's won every game. Like, I replayed the Salamander game and the Grey Knight. Yes, he has. I replayed the Salamander Grey Knight game again in my head. You know when, like, if my so he brought his Spartan, right, to a 1,000-point game. Really fun.
That was nice.
So my Grey Knight, right, the Nemesis, what's the guy in the baby carrier, right? So if I would have got his charge off, Voldus's charge, as well as the unit of Terminators I deep struck and destroyed that first turn, you know how Ben would have reacted the rest of the game? He made his saves, didn't do this. And he would have been butthurt the entire time. Just like it almost happened when he was shooting he shot his Spartan all 8 las cannons and my unit that was in rocks, and so I had a cover save, right? And I made all my saves. And he got really butthurt about it. I was like,
no, that's not true. I was.
Watch the video. He got butthurt, but then right after that, he started doing really well. So it just went all. It was like, oh, I'm doing good. I'm going to win the game. But if I would have destroyed the Spartan first turn, which I had a good chance of doing, I got then Ben the rest of the game would have been like, yeah, good game, TJ. Yep. Can't do anything versus Grey Knights. It's Grey Knights.
Okay.
Grey Knights are ultra competitive, super good army. I can't win. And it would have turned bad. But because he was winning, it was good. Just like the first time I played him with this Tau. He was destroying my Khorne Demonkin, shooting everything to pieces. And he was like, this is awesome, Tau. We're awesome, Tau. We're awesome. And then the other game we played, was he was playing his white scars and he was destroying my obsidian
You
knights
smoked me game 1 with white scars. You smoked me.
with gray knights. And you know your attitude after I did the first psychic power and like his unit just exploded, he was like, well, I guess
Yeah, I was not thrilled. I was like, oh boy.
yeah, and then after that, he was like, well,
I was like,
I can't really do much. I don't know what to do, so I guess the game's yours. And he quit.
Okay.
That didn't happen.
So in
That's
Infinity,
fun.
I was just having a really good time. I was like, this is fun. The guy came out. I really wanted to learn. And so when I was like rolling like crits or whatever, I was getting really excited. I was like, woohoo! I was being obnoxious. And then all that.
John even called it out. John called you out because you were just trying to get under my skin.
Oh, dude. Okay, so I was having fun, right? So I was going, woo.
Having fun by trying to get under my skin. And if you can tell a story, tell it right.
I will. Hold on. I was. But on the first woo of being excited, and I saw a little sheen in your eye, like,
Just a little.
And I was like, oh, there we go. Whoa!
Yeah, and then Troll Jonathan came back out.
Oh yeah, dude. It was too easy though because.
But it's because you're such a terrible winner.
Oh my god.
You're such a bad winner though. Like that's what frustrates me. Is like you're such a bad winner. Like I killed your guy. Like, oh my god, dude, kick a guy while he's down. All right, cool. And then you do the same thing when you lose though.
It was
when you're losing, you do the same thing. Because we played a game where you ended up smoking half my army with your Noise Marines. And if you watch that video, you'll see the dynamic shift from me being happy and fine and Jonathan being, no, it's fine. I'm going to put my dice out. I'm not doing good. And then he wipes out half of my army.
This is my second one I was going to go on was that game. When you're like, boom, you bombarded everything. You killed like a whole Noise Marine squad. I was like, there goes everything. I lost mobility, everything. I was like,
I killed a rhino. I killed like a rhino.
And a whole Noise Marine squad.
Wow, you had 4 more?
Two more at that point.
You had 3 more.
Anyway, the point was I was like, man, I don't know what to do. I need to do something. And then I go, boom, Spartan, boom, Predator. And you were like,
Razorback.
Yeah,
Razorback. Thank you.
Razorback.
And he went to 0, like super high bid to everything sucks. My Spartan died. Like all you gotta do is kill a Spartan and you'll be set.
Well, the thing was we were prepping for LBO and I was really struck because I was like, I don't think I have a very competitive list. And I don't think I'm going to do that well because Jonathan keeps smoking me with these guys that he keeps promising me are not super overpowered. And I'm like, they've got this and this and this. And my guys don't have any of those things. So, like, either I'm doing something really wrong or Jonathan's full of crap and his guys are really good and he knows it. And Jonathan's like, no, they're fine. They're not that good. Oh. They shoot 3 times when they die. Yeah. They could shoot a character if they want. It's not a big deal. No.
Well. Hey, TJ, how did you handle that? Did you play it tactically? And you beat me every time, didn't you? Oh, that's right. You stayed out of 24 inches when you killed me.
I could. I tried. I literally built that list in order to deal with Noise Marines, and I still got smoked hard. I picked the guys with the longest range. That's why I started bringing Vanguard vets. Or not Vanguard, Stern Guard vets because they have the
Stern Guard vets? Why?
Because they've got a 30-inch range on their bolter and they've got -2 AP stock. Like, I mean, they're semi-decent. They're not that expensive. What else am I going to bring? Against Noise Marines? I was trying to shoot them outside of their range. That was the whole plan. Didn't work out.
Well, you don't want anything that's out on the board that they can hurt easily.
Well, there's not a whole lot of options when he can just be in a Razorback and he's just going to tear through that.
Jonathan, how'd you tear through my Razorbacks and Predators and all the armor I had?
You know, this is funny because 2 minutes ago I was like, oh, you guys have so much more experience than me. And you guys are like, you're so stupid. Your tactics are awful.
No, actually, you don't want to take our advice, Ben, usually when it comes to tactics. I don't know how many times we've told you not to deep strike your Terminators in front of a gun line, and you did it last game.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I did. I didn't have anywhere else to deep strike them. I was playing Tau. They're all gun lines.
But you complained about your Terminators being terrible. I heard that. I was
I
like,
failed my saves with my Terminators every game. They're always removed by bolter fire.
Dumped him in front of 30 Tau Fire Warriors. What did you think was going to
I had to
happen?
get the objective to win. I was trying to win the game. I knew it was probably going to happen. I was hoping to tie him up in combat. I was hoping to get 2 of my units behind his line so I could get D3 victory points, and I was hoping to prevent him from firing the next turn.
Why don't you drop him in front of the Riptide and kill the Riptide?
yeah, dude. I would have done that.
Or
Well,
the Commander
Riptide wasn't doing
the board.
The Riptide wasn't doing anything. It didn't move all game.
Well, what about the Commander that was in the middle of the board?
It wasn't his warlord. What's the point?
Who's his warlord?
He was tucked away in a corner, not doing anything.
So you should have deep struck there and destroyed him in the corner.
I mean, I could have gotten the warlord points, but there were a couple other things I needed to do. Plus, he had other units wrapped around it, so I didn't have an effective charge. I didn't have an effective deep strike point. There were a lot of other aspects to the game.
Brought a Storm Eagle, right?
See,
Brought a Storm Eagle, right?
yeah, he nuked that Storm Eagle real quick.
First turn.
Second turn. It was almost dead first turn.
Why weren't the Terminators in the Storm Eagle?
Why would I put the Terminators in the Storm Eagle when they can deep strike?
Because you can move them up right in his face, bring them out, and they're an inch away. You're not going to fail the charge. What's better, an inch charge or a 9-inch charge?
What happened with my Storm Eagle?
Turn 2. How far can it move?
30 inches because it was half dead. It had like 5 wounds left.
30 inches? Hey, Jonathan, if you deploy 20, most of the board, that 30 inches is going to put you right in his gun line. And then they die, they get out right there, and they charge them right there. You're not trying to make a 9-inch charge. You're making like a 4-inch charge.
Yeah, that's what I was doing. But instead of putting the Terminators in deep strike, but instead of putting the Terminators in the unit where they can already deep strike, I put 2 squads of Stern Guard with heavy flamers, Vulcan and a lieutenant, and another attack marine squad, which would have had a lot more success charging into the commander, which is what I was trying to do until it got nuked on turn 1. And it had its movement reduced from 50 inches, going in a diagonal across the board from one corner to the other. It wasn't going to make it.
I saw where it blew up.
Yeah, in the center of the board, right in front of the gun line. Right next to the crude hounds. All of his crude. I already met, and for the record, one of the very first things I said when we started talking about this at the beginning of the chat was how I did a lot of tactical errors in that game.
I know. I'm trying to give you points on how to play your army tactically, and you're like, no, that's not how I should play it, TJ.
I'm telling you how the game went. If you had been right there and over my shoulder, and you'd be like, hey, man, why don't you do this way? I'm like, oh, yeah, it's probably a good point.
I know, but see, now you're going back on it, and you're like, nah, that wouldn't have worked. It would have worked.
Yeah, you're right. It's really stupid to deep strike Terminators ever. I don't know why anyone would ever do that. What?
Yeah, it's not a good idea if there's nothing around them.
Yeah.
I made my decisions, and they didn't work out. Okay.
I know, but you've done this over and over again, and we've told you not to deep strike your Terminators by themselves with nothing around them.
I need to stop bringing Terminators, apparently, because I don't know how to use them. I guess. I don't know what I'm doing.
It's okay. Everybody makes mistakes with Terminators.
Yes, you do. I make big mistakes with my Terminators, and I know what not to do next time.
He does, actually, yeah.
Well, I mean,
I'm
maybe
just telling you.
play the game as long as
I played Terminators a lot longer than you have, and I'm telling you not to deep strike them by themselves.
Well, what is your recommendation? How would you use your Terminators against Tau?
Oh, I would load them in some sort of transport so they don't get shot at.
Okay, you're going to bring that to your.
If I'm going to take Terminators, it's about the delivery system. Deep striking is not effective versus Tau.
But you don't. But then you're list building. But you're list building against Tau, which is something I was trying very desperately not to do because I didn't think that was fair to Scott. I was trying not to list build. I was trying to
built the list to kill your Space Marines.
He didn't know I was bringing Space Marines.
Then he's watched the
channel. He was playing.
I'm pretty sure Scott knew what you were playing.
Play like 2 things.
No, we were talking about who was going to play him. It was down to the last minute when we finally decided that it was going to be me.
He watched our last live feed and we say Ben's playing him and you're bringing salamanders. You even told us that.
And I had been chatting with him all week.
So we knew you were bringing your salamanders.
Okay. Well, he had 2 lists. He offered to bring either one of them. So I wanted to give the guy a fun game. I wasn't trying to smoke him into the ground. So I'm not really that upset
No,
about
I don't say smoke him in the ground. I'm just saying, like, you got to think about it with what army you're playing. So if you're bringing Terminators, it's probably not the best idea to deep strike him in front of a Tau gun line. Because how many shots do Tau Fire Warriors get?
3 each if they've got a Cadre Fireblade next to them.
Jesus Christ.
That's 90 shots, Ben. You think a 3+ save is going to save you on 90 shots?
2+. They don't have any -1.
Do you think you're going to live with 5 for 90 shots?
Well, I made it through the initial charge. I got into combat with him.
How many did you get?
Overwatch.
How many?
Against all of his Overwatch. You know how many wounds I took? 1.
How are the Tau Fire Warriors not wiped out if you made it into close combat with them?
Because I whiffed hard.
Oh.
How do you whiff hard?
Because they're hitting on 4s. Terminators are hitting on 4s.
You don't have a sergeant or something? You don't have a captain with them?
No, I didn't build a captain in. Because you know what happens typically when I play my my Terminators with a captain in them? The Terminators make the charge and the captain fails his charge. So he's always sitting back, then trying to run across the board in this cataphracti armor, moving 4 inches each turn.
Oh, never mind. Sorry. Forgot it's John's army and you painted the cataphracti Terminator. Oh boy, that's tough. Yeah, but I'd either load him up in the Storm Eagle, man. Get him where you want to go. Get him. That's why people load up Dreadnoughts and Storm Ravens.
That's what Matt said. He said transport them.
I don't know, man. I didn't think it was a really good tactical choice to put them in there when they've already got deep strike, but apparently I don't know what I'm doing according to the berating I just got.
Hey, so Frank's asking you, since you know Tau, when you're building a detachment, let's say a Spearhead detachment in Tau, how do I decide which HQ choice is best?
Well, that entirely depends on what your goal is with your list and with that detachment. So with a lot of my Spearhead detachments, it's probably because I was going to take 3 heavy, 3 broadsides anyway. So I threw another HQ that was going to benefit my army, and I brought that. So I might take another Cadre Fireblade because he's 42 points, and then throw him with, and then split my gun line so that I have 2 Cadre Fireblades on 2 sides of the board. But you probably shouldn't take advice from me because apparently deep striking Terminators is really dumb, and I've been doing it.
No, I'm trying to tell you how to play Space Marines, not Tau.
That is a big Wells Fargo.
That is a big Wells Fargo. That was such a large Wells Fargo. You should call John and ask him how big that Wells Fargo was.
So I just got a notification pop up. Apparently Stephen Hawking just died.
No.
Yeah.
Yep. There goes our world. We're going to fall in a deep, dark conundrum now.
He died at 76.
Damn, that's impressive.
He died on Pi Day because he died in Cambridge, London, which is already tomorrow.
Pi Day.
It is Pi Day.
Does that mean we eat pie or it's the 3.14 blah, 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 blah?
Yep.
Oh, the other one?
No,
So,
both.
Let's see here. When you're building an attachment, let's do Spearhead and Tau. How would you decide which choice best? So, if that's Spearhead is...
Spearhead's heavy.
Spearhead's heavy. So what are you going to take as heavy? Are you going to take broadsides or are you going to take hammerheads?
It depends on what kind of list I'm building. If I had sniper drones, I'd be bringing a crap load of sniper drones because they're pretty solid, especially in the new codex with the... They can have a 54-inch range if you pick the Borkancept. And if you play your cards right and you get the right little combo going, you can give them, they can be hitting on 3s and 2s. Because the Farsight Marksman is going to give them a +1 to hit. If you throw, say, a stealth suit or a commander next to them with a drone controller, they're going to get another +1. So instead of 5s and 4s, the Farsight's giving them 4s. And then with the commander, they're hitting on 3s. And then if there's marker lights on whatever target you're looking at, then you're hitting on 2s. So with the 6s for mortal wounds to wound, I think sniper drones are pretty solid. But
so why don't you put an ethereal by them? Get the reroll ones.
I would rather have my snipers way out of the way, way tucked back. And if I was going to put an ethereal near them, I feel like I might be wasting the ethereal. So with sniper drones, they get a -1 to hit as long as they're not being, as long as they're not the closest target to whatever's shooting them. So what my plan was to try and kind of mitigate that and make sure that they were one of the farthest, they weren't getting touched, was to put a stealth squad right next to them, technically in front of them. And then the stealth squad's automatically got a -1 to hit. They're the closest unit, so they're always going to have that -1 to hit, and preferably in cover wherever I'm putting them. So the stealth squad's going to be fairly resilient. They've got a drone controller, and theoretically, I haven't ever run sniper drones. I don't have any sniper drones because they're Forge World and they're not cheap. I'm hoping to convert some though. But that was my little that's my little kind of practice idea for how I want to run some sniper drones in the new codex.
So you wouldn't run broadside, you'd run sniper drones for the spearhead?
No, I was just saying it depends on what I was planning on doing with it. Because you're looking at two completely different detachments.
Yeah.
Sniper drones are like 60 points a piece, and broadsides are double, triple that. So, or not 60 points a piece, but they're really cheap in comparison.
Okay.
So you can fit a really inexpensive spearhead detachment into your list if you bring like a Cadre Fireblade for 40 points and then 180 points worth of sniper drones.
Okay, I see what you're doing.
Firepower. So, I mean, picking my HQ really depends on what I want to do with the list or what I want to do with, that detachment. And more often than not, I'm not picking an HQ just for that specific detachment. I'm picking an HQ based on what he's going to do for my whole army or based on a certain combo I'm trying to pull off. Because if I've got 3 groups of fire warriors and I've got 3 HQs and I've got 3 heavy detachment troops or 3 heavy detachment selections, I'm not going to run it all as one battalion. I only need 2 HQs from my battalion with my 3 fire warrior squads, and then I can take that other HQ, whatever he is, even if he's meant to benefit the fire warriors, and then I can run that as a spearhead and then I'll get that extra command point. Take the same units, but I'm building with the optimization for command points. So I kind of shuffle my HQs around as I need them in order to make my command points and in order to help get more.
Okay, so Frank would take broadsides.
But I like broadsides. Broadsides are they're better now. Now with the point decrease, they're a lot better.
So you need an HQ that's going to benefit broadsides.
If you want to bring an HQ that's going to benefit broadsides, I don't know. I don't see a whole lot of benefit off the top of my head. I mean, you could use an ethereal to give them the reroll the ones if they haven't moved, which you probably don't want to move them unless they've got target lock so they can move and not take a penalty to hit. So an ethereal would be beneficial, but if you're dumping those broadside shots into it, you probably want to put marker lights into it. You're probably going to try and get the 5 marker lights into it so that you can get the +1 to hit it. So, I mean, I don't think I'd really run an HQ right next to my broadsides. There's not a lot of scenarios where I'd put an HQ right next to my broadsides. Maybe if I was running 3 broadsides with high yield missile pods, since the range is a little bit shorter and I wanted them up on the front line to be like this big, really tough speed bump guarding my fire warriors or something like that. Like, I don't know. But it really depends on the scenario for me or what I'm trying to do.
Yeah. Well, guys, it's getting pretty late, and I think it's time to call the show. We hit on a lot of good topics. We talked about Tau, Necrons, and the time clock, as well as tactics, and how to play your Terminators properly, depending on your situation. Not always is it a bad choice, probably Deep Strike, but in certain situations it may be. So we appreciate, guys, everyone's support, everyone who participated in the chat. Man, it was actually a huge conversation that was going on in chat.
Yeah.
So thank you guys for participating, and appreciate everyone's support. So everybody, you guys have a good night.